Hello, in this one Frost Wave critical and maximize builds, let's talk about what makes this good early game and end game. Skill board, zodiacs, charms, relics and more are coming up next. Early skill board. On the Frost Wave, we want to have additional cold damage, confidence, quick attack, find weakness, fighting spirit and warrior shadow. For movement abilities, we are looking at leap attack and roll linked with disarm. For attack enhance, we want Fighter's Right. For defense enhance, we want Bulwark, and both enhances are linked with increased duration and time acceleration. Shadow Provocation is in here to fix our armor, as it gives armor amp plus a little bit of damage. On Shadow Provocation, we want to have Lingering Shout, Hushed Shout, Predator's Roar, and time acceleration. Also buff activation when hit. This link rune is gonna make it so whenever we are hit, it's automatically gonna proc Shadow Provocation. For seals and toggles, we want to have Seal of Critical Chance, counter attack for the pain effect and a little bit of dodge rate. Pain effect is basically a debuff on enemy that increases our damage. Defense seal in here is Seal of Dodge, however you can use many other defensive seals, the ones that give you elemental damage dampenings, physical damage dampenings, any defensive seal that you have. All of the toggles and seals are linked with dampened resource costs to make mana consumption a little bit easier on us. Of course, on Frostwave I had Fighting Spirit, which is a blue link rune and can only be obtained from a blue link box. But I highly recommend to pick this up early. And Warrior Shadow is a yellow link rune. However, this one is gonna stay on our build all the time. We're never gonna remove it. It's one of the best link runes we can have, and I highly recommend to get this as early as possible. Zodiacs for critical build looks like this. I'm gonna start with non-specialization nodes, which are in here, and I'm gonna keep specialization nodes at last. However, you can spend your points much earlier. For example, Spec 1 unlocks when you spend 22 points, Spec 2, 45, and Spec 3, 70. So remember to spend those points earlier, but I want to keep it simple, so I'm gonna start with non-spec nodes. Aphros, Swamp, Jewel, Leaf, Stem, Flash, Dewdrop, Rainbow, Breath, Dust, Scent, Artemis, Maggot, Spider, Layer. Display of Lightning is really important as it's gonna enable us to apply Shock debuff, which increases our damage. Atmospheric Pressure. Specialization is Dawn. In here, we want to pick up HP Absorb on attack hit. If you have mana issues, you can go pick up Convert Mana. If you don't, pick up Strike Damage Amplification, which is a huge damage increase. At the start, you're not going to be able to spend 9 points in here, only 7. But after you finish the Green Quest line in Saluto, you're going to get 2 extra points in here. Hail for area damage amplification, Tempest, and Sharpness. Sympathy for amplifies damage upon attacking, and damage amplification on using movement skill. And you always want to use movement skill because 30% damage amp is a lot. For a maximize build, we want to have Seal of Persistence on the skill board instead of Seal of Critical. On the Frostwave itself, we can add Extract Cold Energy instead of Find Weakness. You can also do Persistence instead of Fighting Spirit early. However, Fighting Spirit is so much better than Persistence, so I kept it. On Zodiacs, there are 2 changes also. In Rainbow, we want to pick up Distorted Senses. On Specialization 2, instead of picking up Sharpness, we can pick up Strong Winds and Light Winds effect with damage upon attack. Charm Blessings are Mirror City. This is what you want to start with. Then into Boreal, Alyssa, and Castor. You can do only 3 blessings as Castor is optional, but if you're going for 4, Castor is our only option. charm affixes for critical build, we want to have critical rate and critical damage always on our charms. The third affix is up to you. Maximize damage would be the best, however, getting something like HP multiplier, HP flat, some resistances, or even critical damage taken dampening is also a good choice. For a legendary prefix, we are looking for maximization chance, because whenever we are doing a critical build, they can also do maximize damage. That means getting maximization chance, which is both double maximization and triple maximization chance, is a really huge boost to our damage. If you can get maximization chance, the next best one would be strike damage amplification. This one is also gonna increase our damage by quite a bit. Getting something like critical damage is also a choice, but not really that huge of a damage increase. For a maximize build, we want to have damage multiplier and maximize damage multiplier as our two main affixes. The third one depends on you. If you want some defenses, you can go for HPs. If you want more offensive, you want to pick up damage when two-handed weapon equipped if you are using a two-handed weapon. If you are using one-handed weapon, that means you want damage when one-handed. For a legendary prefix, we only scale from strike damage amplification, and this is the only one we need. Relics, we want to start with Sebda. Pick up enhanced chaos resist on passive, on active mental stimulation with cooldown recovery speed and increased buff effect. Second is Castor. In here we can choose enhanced strength or enhanced range. Both of them are good. Third is Aquila for cold penetration and cold damage. Last one is Boreal. It's only gonna be level 15, so we're picking up some extra HP in here. Uniques. For a critical build, you want to have Caster Refraction. It gives a flat critical rate and critical damage. This flat critical rate fixes all of our critical issues. On a maximized build, we want to have Band of Certainty. And together with Band of Certainty, we always want to use Seal of Persistence. Otherwise, their passive effect is not gonna work. And this ring is the main reason why we don't want to have any chance to deal double maximized or triple maximized, as this ring is more than enough. Itemization for early game, I'm gonna keep it simple. There are two types of weapon bases in this game. One that has a high critical rate, on two-handed sword is 13, and low critical base. On two-handed sword, its critical rate of 9. The lower the critical rate on your weapon, the higher the base damage. That means this specific weapon is good for maximized builds, and this one is good for critical builds. With that in mind, this is what kind of affixes you want to have on a critical build. Gear critical rate multiplier and weapon attack damage multiplier is must to have on a weapon. And this is what you always want to aim for. On the prefix, cold damage flat is gonna be a nice damage increase. Of course, you're not gonna be able to have this type of good craft, so get what you can, but always remember, gear critical rate multiplier and weapon attack damage multiplier is the most important ones. On a maximized weapon, we are looking at weapon attack damage multiplier and maximized damage multiplier. These two are the most important, and then on the prefix, you get what you can. Cold damage flat, weapon attack damage flat is really nice too. On chest or any other piece of your equipment, what you're aiming for is as much defense as you can. On the prefix, you want to get gear armor multiplier, and if it's a dodge base, it's gonna be a gear dodge rate multiplier. This is really important together with HP. Those two prefixes you want to have always on your defensive equipment. Physical damage taken is here is nice, but it's not necessary. You can pick up even extra HP if you want to, or extra armor flat. On the suffix is all about fixing your resistances, and that's all you need to worry about. Chaos resist is important. You always want to cap your chaos resist, and after that, whatever you need on the rest of your resistances. On a more offensive craft, for example gloves, you can pick up some attack speed on the prefix, but still, pick up some armor multiplier or dodge rate multiplier depending on your gear. Don't miss on this one. You really want to fix your base defense. After that, you can pick up some hit rate. This is for a critical build. On a maximized build, you would get maximized damage, but in here it's critical damage multiplier, critical rate multiplier, and of course chaos resist. As crafting any other resistances on gloves also could work, but chaos resist is probably the best to have. Later skill board. On Frostwave, we have two choices of awakenings. Source is for more single target damage, Origin is for more multi-target. On the links, we have Warrior Shadow, Fighting Spirit, Concentrated Area Damage, Iron Will, Melee Damage Amplification, and Focus. Some of these link runes has requirements. For example, Iron Will requires 24k HP and 500 strength to get all the damage up. If you don't have those requirements, you can switch Iron Will for Mana Storm, Elemental Damage Jump, Harmony, whatever you have and whatever gives you more damage amplification. On melee damage amplification, we want to have Original Awakening, otherwise it's gonna break our build. Warrior Shadow is source, Fighting Spirit is source, Concentrated Area Damage is source. Focus can't be awakened, and this one doesn't have any requirements, and it's really nice to have it early. Other changes on the skill board are Seal of Striking instead of Seal of Critical, because at this rate you should have your critical capped, and Seal of Critical shouldn't be any damage increase to you. Veil of Protection is here as defense enhance. It gives you either melee damage taken decrease or projectile damage taken decrease. Illusion Axe is utility to extract earth energies. On Fighter's Right, we have Weakened Totem that applies vulnerable effect and increases our damage to the enemies. Weakened Totem is awakened to source, but you can also awaken it to origin. Both works very well. Weakened Totem has Enhanced Totem Link Rune in here for extra totem effect. Fighter's Rod has decreased duration, but be careful because you need quite a bit of duration for this Link Rune to give you damage. Enhanced effect is just skill rune effect on both Fighter's Rod and Shadow Provocation. I added Shadow of Justice in here to remove a hard crowd control from us. If you have it together with buff activation on crowd control, it's gonna work automatically. I switch Leap Attack for Penetrating Slash because it has fast animation. For a maximized build, of course, we have Seal of Persistence, Extract Cold Energy, and instead of Focus, I added Smash. Smash awaken it to source as it gives extra smash effect. Masteries, Weapon, Armor. On the second, you can also pick up Solar Echo instead of Survival Instincts. Accessory, again on the second one, instead of picking up Strength and Center, you can pick up Quick Feet. Ultimate Masteries, in here, the main point is to pick up Enhanced Potion. After that, I chose Mana. On the fourth, you always want to have Absolute Perfection and Spring of Inspiration. On the fifth, Excavator Soul. And with the leftover points, you can pick up some Synthesis Acceleration. Energies is a big damage increase later into the game. On maximized build, you can start doing it early. The only thing you need is Extract Energy Link Rune, awaken it to source for max energy +2 to negate -2. Maximized build doesn't care about the negative effects that you get from cold energy or lightning energy because of the Band of Certainty. This is a simple way to increase our damage. On a critical build, we run into some issues. So for example, I'm gonna add some of the skill board back, so it would be a critical build, so that's how it would look like. But right now, we need to fix a few things in here. Because we are critical, we really care about that negative effects of critical chance and maximization chance, and one way to fix it is our Zodiacs. It's not gonna negate them fully, however, if you pick up Electric Current Wall, which is 50% debuff effect reduction for lightning energies, and Frost Shard for the cold energies, you should be able to get damage increase from this. It's definitely not gonna be early game, it's gonna be much later into the game. At the same time, I have two extract energies in here. One is on our main skill, on Frostwave with Source Awakening, and one with Origin Awakening on the movement skill, and that's because Origin Awakening gives damage taken dampening per energy possessed. That means it's an extra layer of defense that you can get from the same energies. Frostwave, after the mid-season changes, is really good right now. It has plenty of multi-target even without the Origin Awakening. Damage scaling shouldn't be a problem after a buff to the skill tooltip. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those on YouTube comments on when I'm streaming live. For this one, that's all. GG's, bye bye, and see you in the next one.